readiness for war in the country after a barrage of rockets were fired from the Gaza Strip. The rocket attack claimed at least one life while 16 others were injured, and the Israel defense chief said that a state of war has been declared in 80 kilometers radius around the Gaza Strip, adding that the assessment and approvals on countermeasures is now underway. Meanwhile, the armed wing of Palestinian group Hamas has claimed responsibility of the attack and said that it had launched over 5,000 rockets, and Israeli media claims that Hamas operatives have seized control of a police station at the border town of Sirot and is now holding several people hostages. Major roads and checkpoints across South are now blocked.
ישראל, אנחנו במלחמה, לא במבצע, לא בסבבים, במלחמה. הבוקר חמאס פתח במתקפת פתע רצחני נגד מדינת ישראל ונגד אזרחיה. אנחנו בתוך זה משעות הבוקר המוקדמות. כינסתי את ראשי מערכת הביטחון, הנחיתי קודם כל לטהר את היישובים מהמחבלים שחדרו פנימה. הפעולה הזאת מתבצעת בשעות הללו. במקביל הוריתי לבצע גיוס מילואים נרחב ולהשיב מלחמה שערה בעוצמה ובהיקף שהאויב לא הכיר. האויב ישלם מחיר שהוא לא ידע כמותו. אני קורא בינתיים לכל אזרחי ישראל להישמע בקפדנות להנחיות הצבא, להנחיות פיקוד העורף. אנחנו במלחמה ואנחנו ננצח בה.
My colleague Pradeep Datta is joining me live right now to get us more details. Well, Pradeep, we just heard the Israeli Prime Minister making a statement over there and declaring that they are in a state of war. But what does it mean for both the nations now? Because clearly war is never a good news for either. But this kind of escalation in the violence is not a first. But this is one of the most intensified attacks from the Gaza side since 2014. So take us through what exactly is happening on ground and how is Israel preparing its combat?
Sami, you're absolutely right. It's always the people on either side, they suffer whenever there's a war. It was today morning at about 6:30 a.m. People in Israel, they got up hearing sounds of siren as well as explosion of the rockets being fired by Hamas. If you look at the three-pronged attack, if one has to analyze the three-pronged attack that has been launched by this Hamas terrorists, one is that there was an unprovoked aggression. They started firing rockets because they wanted to create confusion, giving hardly any time for the Israeli defense forces to understand what exactly was going on. And then the second process was infiltration. Under the garb of those rocket firing, they, with the help of those paragliding machine, they infiltrated into the Israel side. They used three routes. They land, sea, as well as the aerial route. Finally, after that, they started targeting civilians. The third is the operation. They have taken some of the people as hostage. They are firing at the people passing by. They are targeting those cars passing by so that because they want to inflict maximum casualty. And by taking people hostage, maybe they want to have an upper hand so far as this conflict is concerned, because they know that at the end of the day, they will have to sit on the talking table and they will be at a better bargaining position. That's what they are doing. So the biggest challenge right now for the Israelis, one, they have to track down those infiltrated Hamas terrorists inside their territory, have to pin them down. That's one they have to do. Second, they have to prevent this conflict from spreading over from the southern part and central part to the other parts of Israel. Third is they have to also prevent this conflict from spreading over to the other front, because there are regions like northern region where there is another terror group called Hezbollah. So they have to keep those elements also at bay. And fourth is to prevent a kind of a civilian casualty. Meanwhile, already the Prime Minister of Israel, he has announced a war against Hamas. A counteroffensive has already been launched. This has been named as Iron Swords. Why they call it Iron Swords? Because a message is being sent loud and clear that they are going to cull the ugly heads of those Hamas terrorists who are targeting them since morning. And this is not first time when the people of Israel have been targeted, because in the past also we have seen whether it was Hezbollah group Al-Fatah that was then led by Yasser Arafat, or whether it is Hamas, which is being supported, aided and abetted by Iran. But they had been targeted. But this is the massive attack. For the first time we have seen that in such a large number that rocket have been fired, because ideas by firing a rocket, they want to create a situation of confusion and conflict. But the biggest question everybody is asking, what led to the intelligence failure? Because only last month the truce has been brokered by United Nations and Qatar plus Egypt. They wanted a peace between the Hamas and the Israel. And Now it appears that Hamas was using that as a time so that they can once again brace up and carry out attack on Israel. And the second thing is that there has been intelligence failure. People are asking questions, where had been the defense forces, why the police force was not able to prevent the breach of the fence that has been there on the border, how come they infiltrated, and nobody had really thought that they will be using those paragliding machines. So this is a matter of concern, not only for Israel, this is a matter of concern for countries like India that has been a victim of terror for long, been sponsored from across the border, and many other Arabic nations also supporting them by money. But the biggest concern remains, what will be the response of the Muslim world?